I encourage our students, whether I have 7 in the class or I have 17, to work on one presentation model, one presentation for the SimCity, and one presentation for the narrative, because it builds a sense of group involvement and doesn't make it so you're so competitive in your own class.
We've tried a number of different things, groups of 5, groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 2. We found that a group of 2 works actually the best.
For us, the only real option is we do it in all of our classes. So all of my students, all 140, are required to do it. But there's those that compete and those that don't want to compete.
In terms of being a teacher, you have to have enough time to really prepare some of the conceptual things. What I do is I flip the classroom, I use Google Classroom, and I put all sorts of videos and how-tos, and they can explore those things on their own. And then our class meets twice a week for an hour each time. So we have to cram a lot of things, a lot of knowledge that they gather at home into that time that we have together.
We book 2 hours a week on Mondays.
We start second week of October and we end the Friday before winter break.
And then we have a winter workshop. So when everyone else is on winter vacation, my students come in for about 4 days, for 7-hour days.
Now it's a culture of excellence. The first thing kids will ask when we come in September is, when are we starting Future City? Most of the siblings that have been in here before have done really well, and they come away and they realize how much they've learned. So once they've done that, then everybody wants to become that A student.
The most consistent comment that we get from kids after we take our cities to regionals is that they had a lot of fun, but it wasn't anything like what they imagined.
At our school, students are participating in it because we're a 1st through 12th grade program. So they've seen the students for years do it, and they finally are at the grade level where they're like, oh, I get to do it, I get to do it. I'm so excited.
We found that kids really love building things. They like hands-on exploration. Their imagination is captured when they're working with their virtual city, and they get very excited about creating a model of what that might look like.
It's not a teacher-driven class, it's a student-driven class. So as long as they want to be in it, it gives them a chance to excel in the strong points and learn about some of the other points they're not so strong in.
They don't anticipate is how much time it takes to actually develop a well-structured essay or to create a detailed and consistent model. So those are things that at the end of the competition, a lot of our students who will repeat will say, okay, we're going to do this differently, we're going to change this. And they have much more realistic expectations for how long it's going to take.
One of the things that I find is the boys or the girls who are hands learners, it gives them a chance to see that they are smart and they are capable of succeeding in schooling. They just have to learn how to tap into that to do their everyday classes.
Yeah. And I've got parents that the kids might say, no, I'm going to take art, and they go, no, you're not taking design and engineering, you're going to do Future City. I'm on my 3rd generation of kids now, so that's kind of cool.
Well, we're very fortunate because we have a number of architectural engineers and structural engineers that work with the cities here, Seattle, not Seattle, but Linwood and Mountain Lake Terrace, and Edmonds all have engineers that are very interested in coming and talking with our students. We have a little bit more difficult time finding a way for them to be involved in the model building and sort of informing the model building. So we're going to try something different this year. We've invited an engineer to come and be with us during the last 4 weeks of class. So we'll see how that goes.
I've had 2 engineer mentors, and the community doesn't really want to work with middle school very well. So generally what I do is I find somebody here in school, and our goal is always to take first place and go to DC. So I try to find somebody that will be able to fill things that I can't do.
Our mentor, who we currently have, is going on our 5th year with us. And the success with him and the other mentor who we had success with, they come in on a weekly basis for our class period.
The one that I'm going to use this year has been to DC twice. Both of his children have gone. And he's really good at building the box, making sure the weight is the same. He sees the finer details, things that I might miss because I'm in it every single day.
Because of him, I feel that the success of our team is definitely increased because he talks to them in a way that they can understand, but yet he doesn't downplay it so that they understand the knowledge that has to go in with it.
A lot of people start with just the model, or they start with just the essay, or they may do a super team where some people do just the essay, some people do just the model, some people do just the presentation, and then they put it all together.
If you go at it and you say, okay, I'm just going to do SimCity and I'm just going to do the narrative, to build that model can be very challenging. And to go at it and say, I'm just not going to compete and do everything and just see how well you succeed, gives you an idea where your strong points are for the next school year and where you need to pull in other help.
My advice to any new teacher is to take the time to look through all of the resources and make a decision about where you want to start and how big of the scope is for your first year. You do not have to have your teams do all of the activities, so pick and choose the things that you feel strongest about, where your skills are strongest, so that you can experience the beauty of Future City and the fun of Future City without being all stressed out about trying to cover all those materials.
I jumped in and tried to do it all at once, and it was really overwhelming. And we had one model that went to regionals, and the kids did well, but every year we go, we pick something new and learn something new.
Put your foot in everything if it's your first year, but don't hesitate to say, okay, this is a strong point, I can work on this, but who can I pull in to help me with this?
Well, we have had students with parents that were very involved, and those teams were very successful. And we've had teams where parents were not involved at all, and it was really difficult for the students to stay focused, to get together. Without parents that support the students, I think it's really difficult to be competitive. You can still learn a lot, and the students do learn a great deal about the elements of a city and what goes together into building a city, but it's not the same as having a parent that brings them together, provides snacks, does all sorts of things to make that teamwork piece really successful.